بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم الحمد لله
the compassion of the merciful.
والصلاة على رسول الله
Praise be to the Almighty God
وآله وصحبه.
and His Messenger.
آقای رئیس
Mr. Chairman,
انتخاب شایسته
I'd like to congratulate you on the your appointment as the chair of the 74th General Assembly meeting session.
تبریک میگویم و برای جناب عالی و دبیر کل
I wish you and the respected Secretary General success. At the outset, I would like to commemorate the freedom-seeking movement of Hussein ibn Ali, the third Imam, to all the justice seekers who have burdened hardships trying to restore their rights. I would also like to salute all those who got victimized in terrorist operations carried out in Yemen, Syria, the occupied Palestine, Afghanistan, Iraq, and other countries in the world. I would like to salute them all. Ladies and gentlemen, the Middle East is burning, and the flames of war, bloodshed, aggression, usurpation, racial and ethnic prejudice and bias, as well as extremism. And it's the greatest victim of the situation and plight is the oppressed people of Palestine. Discrimination, land usurpation, settlement building, and massacre, they're all still ongoing. U.S. Zionist imposed plans like the deal of the century, declaring Jerusalem as the capital of the Zionist regime, and annexation of the Golan Heights to other occupied lands. They're definitely doomed to fail. Unlike destructive plans of the U.S., regional cooperation and international collaboration by the Islamic Republic of Iran in the field of providing security and confronting terrorism have been quite determining. Well, some clear instances of those cases are cooperation with Russia and Turkey within the framework of the Astana process. As regards the Syrian crisis, we've also offered a peace plan for the resolution of the Yemen crisis. And also, we've actively cooperated with envoys of the United Nations Secretary General. We have conducted constructive talks with 4 European countries, and we've made active efforts in order to facilitate the peace negotiations between the Yemeni sides. That has led to the Stockholm Peace Agreement as regards the Hudaydah port in Yemen. Distinguished attendees, I'm coming from a country where since a year and a half ago it's withstood against the most brutal economic terrorism, and it has defended its right of independence and technological and scientific advances. It has defended that right. The U.S. administration, by imposing extra regional sanctions and threatening other nations, has endeavored to deprive Iran of the benefits of maintaining presence in the world trade arena. And by taking advantage of the banking system, the U.S. has embarked on international piracy and acting as a bandit. So we Iranians are front runners when it comes to freedom-seeking movements in this region, in our region, and always we have wished peace and progress for ourselves and for our neighbors. We've never surrendered to foreign invasion. We cannot accept the call to, we cannot believe those who call us for negotiations. They say that the most savage and the harshest sanctions in history have been imposed against our great nation. This is what they have declared. So how can we believe that crime and pressure exerted on 83 million Iranians, especially women and children, how can American statesmen find this something pleasant and be considered as a source of pride? Making use of sanctions against a whole range of countries like Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, China, and Russia. This has turned into a chronic addiction. The people of Iran will never forget all these crimes and those who perpetrate those crimes, and the Iranians will not forgive them. Ladies and gentlemen, the present administration of the United States has this approach regarding the JCPOA, which is not only in violation of the Resolution 2231, but also it's as an act of aggression against the political and economic independence and sovereignty of all world countries. Despite the U.S. withdrawal from the JCPOA, Iran, for a period of 1 year, still stood committed and fully complied with all its commitments as per the nuclear deal or JCPOA. We have respected the UN Security Council resolution. We gave Europe the chance to make good on its 11-point commitments in order to compensate for the U.S. withdrawal from the deal. But unfortunately, we heard beautiful words, and we did not witness any action. Now it's proven to all that America has turned back from its commitments, and Europe is unable to make good on its commitments. Even in the Articles 26 and 36 of the JCPOA, we adopted the step-by-step approach, and we're still sticking and adhering to the JCPOA. But there is also a limit to the Iranians' patience. When the U.S. does not respect the UN Security Council resolution, in the situation when Europe has portrayed its inability, the only way is to rely on our own pride, dignity, and our own national power. Well, they call us for talks. At the same time, they're running away from talks. With the current U.S. administration, we have sat at the P5+1 negotiations. We had talked to them, but they nullified the commitments by their predecessors. On behalf of my people and country, I announce that our response to talks under sanctions is no. Our response is negative. The people and government of Iran, for 1 year and a half, withstood the harshest sanctions, and we will never compromise with an enemy that wants to put pressure on Iran and force Iran into a compromise. We will never have any negotiations with that party. If you want a positive answer, like the leader of the Islamic Revolution has stated, the only way for negotiations is to return to your commitments. If you're kind of sensitive or allergic, if you will, to the nuclear deal, which is called JCPOA, you should return to its provisions and at least return to the UN Security Council Resolution 2231 and feel committed to that. Stop sanctions so that the way for negotiations will be open. I am asserting here that if you suffice to minimum requirements, we'll also do the same. The JCPOA was the minimum point, both for you and for us. But if you want more than that, if you want to go beyond, then you have to give more. If you stick to your word that there's only one demand you have for Iran, and that being not building and use of nukes, then this, under the supervision of the IAEA, and also even through the religious edict of the leader of Islamic Revolution, is possible. It's only enough in order to just talk and play the game of having a show of negotiations, return to the negotiations, real negotiations. A photo op is the last station of the negotiations, not the first one. That's the last phase of the negotiations. Ladies and gentlemen, in Iran, despite all the obstructionism on the part of the United States administration, we have continued to move toward building our economy and our society, and will continue to do so. Iran economy in the year 2017 has the highest rate of economic growth in the world, along with continuous decline of the inflation rate. That's what we experience. And today, too, in spite of the tensions because of external factors imposed on us in the past 1.5 years, one more time, we're moving toward stability and growth. We have returned to that path. The growth of our GNP in Iran without oil in the past few months has again turned positive, and our trade balance is still in the positive domain. Respected attendees, the security doctrine of the Islamic Republic of Iran is to preserve peace and security in the Persian Gulf and to provide freedom and security for vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. The recent incidents have seriously endangered the security and peace in the Persian Gulf, in the Sea of Oman, and the Strait of Hormuz. This should be provided with the participation of the countries of our region, and the free flow of oil and other sources of energy could be guaranteed that way, provided that security is a comprehensive umbrella in all areas for all countries. We should consider it that way, not because of the historical responsibility of my country in preserving peace and security and progress in the Persian Gulf region and the Strait of Hormuz. All countries that are worried about the developments and that are impacted by developments in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, I invite them to hope. That is the Hormuz peace endeavor. H-O-P-E, Hormuz peace endeavor. I invite everyone to this initiative. The goal is to promote peace, security, progress, and welfare of all those residing in the vicinity of the Strait of Hormuz, mutual understanding and peaceful and friendly ties among them. Now, this initiative covers various aspects of cooperation, like providing all-out security for energy, freedom of maritime activities, and free flow of oil, and other source of energy as regards the countries in the vicinity of the Strait of Hormuz and even beyond that. Well, hope is on the basis of principles like sticking to the principles of the United Nations, mutual respect, reciprocal interest, equal standing, negotiations and understanding, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of one another, and also leaving the international borders intact, and peaceful settlement of all sources of differences. And most importantly, the two basic principles of non-aggression and non-interference in the internal affairs of one another. That's the basis of hope. The presence of the United Nations organizations in order to create an international umbrella in order to lend support to the hope initiative is also a requisite. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran has more details regarding the Hormuz Peace Initiative. Hope he will inform other countries of more details of that initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, formation of any security coalition under whatever title in the region, with the axis of foreign commanders at the top, this is a clear example of intervention in the affairs of the region. The security approach of shipping is in contravention of right of free shipping and free development, and also it causes tension and further complicates the situation and circumstances, and peace, security, and regional stability, they are threatened this way. The security of our region will be provided by the exit of U.S. military men and not through their arms and their intervention. After 18 years, America has not been able to stop or reduce terrorist operations, but the Islamic Republic of Iran managed to, with the help of other countries and regional neighbors, put an end to the Daesh sedition. The final solution to peace and security in the Middle East is democracy inside the region and diplomacy for outside of the borders. Security cannot be purchased it cannot be provided by foreign governments. Peace, independence, and security of our neighbors are peace, security, and independence of us. America is not our neighbor. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran that's your neighbor. And since ages ago, we have learned that you should go to your neighbor first, and then this is what it is said in Arabic: first the neighbor and then your own home. So on the day of the incident, on the rainy day, we will be left alone. Together, we are each other's neighbors and not neighbors of the U.S. Well, America is here where we are, not in the Middle East. The U.S. cannot stand as an attorney or act on behalf of any government or any nation. Any government or any state does not want others to act as their custodian or as their attorney or act on their behalf. If flames of the Yemen war have spread to Saudi Arabia, you should seek and punish the warmonger, the one who ignited the fire. You should not accuse and attack innocent people. The security of Saudi Arabia is provided by putting an end to the Yemen aggression, not by inviting foreigners. Well, we are prepared for peace, to use all we have in our power and our credibility in the region and our international power. We're ready to spare no effort. Peace solution in the Arabic Peninsula is security in the Persian Gulf and stability in the Middle East region. This must be sought inside the Middle East region, not outside of that region. So issues of our region are too great for the U.S. to be able to handle them. The government that has not been able to even tackle the issues in Afghanistan, Iraq, or Syria, and they have been the main source of extremism and Talibanism and also creation of Daesh. This government will never be able to tackle more sophisticated problems that we're facing today. So, respected and distinguished colleagues, our region is standing on the edge. It's to the point that one little mistake can ignite a big fire. The provocative intervention of outsiders, we cannot tolerate that. And any kind of aggression against our territorial integrity and sovereignty, we will definitely give a decisive response. But there is also an alternative that we also desire, and that is unity and solidarity among all the people who share common interests in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz region. So this is the message of the people of Iran. Let's, instead of investing on violence and war, let's concentrate on hope and let's invest on a better future. Let's return to justice. Let's return to peace. Let's return to law. Let's return to our commitments and pledges. And finally, let's return to the negotiating table. Thank you very much for your attention.
On behalf of the General Assembly,